y'all. Why did I just do that? Whew. Welcome back to my channel. I don't think I really thought through the pink headband with my pink background. I don't think I thought that through 100%, but it's all good. We just gonna go through the video. Judging by my headband, you can see what kind of video this is gonna be. So I did a mini poll on my Instagram and I got a lot more than, I'm going to do both videos, but I just wasn't sure which video to add to my beginner series right now at this very moment. And so exactly which video to add to my beginner series right at this very moment. So I did a poll and this one won. So basically we're going to do a beginner's video on how to prime and do your foundation. Now, the thing with this video is that I'm not going to do my full face of everything that I would normally do. I'm going to strictly just do primer, foundation, and concealer. Those are the three things that we're focusing on in this particular video. Because as you know, other videos I'll dedicate to other stuff. I don't want to throw in bronzer and contour and stuff like that when those things are also very intricate and very important to explain. So I don't want to overwhelm you guys with so much information. I also want to make sure that you guys actually understand the information. So yeah, pretty much. So I think I've said... All right. Thank you. Okay. You got, if you want to kiss, you got to come down here. Sorry, guys. Y'all know how it is. I film with my baby girl. Come on. Be careful. Thank you. So, she had to give me a kiss. So if you hear her in the background, you already know the drill. I don't really have to go through that. I'm just going to show you guys how I even prep my skin for primer. And a lot of people ask me what I use on my skin. So I use these simple cleansing wipes. This is what I use on my skin on a daily basis. I don't have an extensive skincare regimen. I mean, I do have some products I use and masks that I use, but other than that, I don't use anything special. So basically, I'm just going to take the wipes. You always want to make sure that before you apply any makeup or anything, that you are cleaning your skin. Would you paint on a dirty canvas? No, it's the same concept. So you just want to make sure that you get everywhere. Now, what gurus do and what, you know, professionals say ain't got nothing to do with me. I know what works for my skin. So I just cleaned my skin with my wipes. I use the Vaseline Cocoa Butter. So if I'm not wearing makeup, fun fact, if I'm not wearing makeup, I mix that lotion in a little teensy bit of Vaseline, put it on my face, keep it pushing. That is what I use on my face every day. When I'm just doing makeup, I use my wipes and I do this. I use this and I don't use the Vaseline. I literally just put this much in my hand. Now you could use, this is the part where you don't have to use this. I just use what works for my skin. You guys use whatever moisturizer you would normally use on your face, but do not make it heavy. Like, that's why I don't put a lot, because I don't like it to be heavy. It just adds a little bit of like moisture back to my face, so I just prefer to do that. Next, so for primer, so I pulled out 2 primers, and I know if you guys have your beginner's bags ready or still are building them, you want to make sure that you buy a primer. So I use a high-end primer, but I also added a low-end primer today because I know not everybody's going to want to spend $30 on a primer, even though it's 100% worth it and it works. So first, I'm going to use my more expensive primer. It's my Hydro Grip Milk primer. I mean, I have other primers, but this one just works. And you can apply primer with your face. I used to do that. I just find now that it's just easier for me to apply it with a brush and then use my hands. So this is the Real Techniques foundation brush. Pretty simple. And I just pump it on there. And literally just take that and I spread it all over my face. And what I like about this primer is that a little bit goes a long way. You really don't have to have a lot of it. And you want to put this primer on all parts of your face. So what I'm about to say is very, very important because I meant to say this. You have, in order for primers to work for you, you can mix primers, but in order for them to work for you, you have to understand what type of skin you have. So I have dry skin. So this Hydro Grip primer is gel based. It's hydrating. So I use a lot of hydrating primers because I have dry skin. If you have combination skin or normal skin, you can pretty much use any type of primer. If you have oily skin, you'd want to use a mattifying primer. Perfect example, Fenty. They have a mattifying primer and a hydrating primer. So they have a primer for women who are oily, and they have primers for women who are dry. So you're just going to rub that. The Hydro Grip one, it dries down and it dries sticky. So if you buy it and you use it and it's sticky, that's a great thing because that means that your foundation is going to literally stick to that primer and not onto your face and all that good stuff. So I kind of jumped subject, so I want to make sure that I'm clear. So the primer and the foundation that you use are all based on your skin type. And your skin type is incredibly, incredibly important. So I already know that I have dry skin. My daughter has dry skin. So we have dry skin. I know people who are oily. So women with oily skin, or men with oily skin, you are always going to want to use something that's a little bit more mattifying. Sometimes it's okay to use hydrating. You don't want to use too much, but you're always going to want to use something that mattifies, that stops your oil buildup on your face when you're wearing your makeup. Like I said, Fenty has two really good ones. NYX has good ones. If you ever look, they have like a mattifying one. Even in foundations, they always have a mattifying one and a hydrating one. So you want to know your skin type at first. Okay, so that's very important. So some people, so this is where it gets kind of confusing but kind of easy at the same time. So I know sometimes people are strictly just oily in their T-zone. Your T-zone is this area. It's this area, like your forehead and down. That's your T-zone. Sometimes people are oily in their T-zone. So sometimes they'll just use a mattifying primer right here, and then they'll use a regular normal primer around their face. So it's all about learning your skin, learning your skin type, learning your face. You can go to a dermatologist. You can literally just try products and watch your skin. I know that if something's too matte, it comes off patchy or it feels dry or your skin doesn't look as lustrous. So really, you just got to pay attention to your skin, learn your skin. You can go to a professional. I figured mine out just from trial and error and just from figuring out exactly what works for my skin. So that's important when it comes to primers. So now I'm going to go in with the high glass face primer. This is just to add some glow and all that. And I'm only using a little bit of this. And I'm just going over like a little bit on my face, like not everywhere, not all over my face. I just kind of want that glow, and this primer gives you a glow. So you also have primers that will give you glow, all types of stuff, but these are the two that I have been loving lately. I love how it makes my foundation look, and I love what it's been doing to my skin. So next, I'm going to put some chapstick on my lips because, baby, I always do this. You always want to put some type of lip mask or lip gloss, and this is the Bath and Body Works Mentha Supreme. All right, So we've chapped our lips. We looking real shiny, real greasy, real like. So now we're going to go into we're going to color correct. All right. So in my last beginner's videos, I gave you guys two options. You can get the Master Conceal Camo, or you can get the LA Girl Pro Concealer. They're both the same color, so they both do the same thing. I just like the applicator on this one better. It's just a little easier to work with. So, color correcting, very important. This is for my ladies who have hyperpigmentation in their skin. So this means, as you guys can actually see it right now. I'm totally not hiding it. The lights are telling it. So you see how my upper lip is dark and all of this is dark in comparison to my cheeks? Or how my inner, eye sockets, or whatever those are called, are darker compared to the rest of my skin? That means that I have to color correct. So I'm using orange because on darker skin, orange cancels out dark. So that way when you put on your foundation, you don't have it where the foundation looks normal here, but then it looks gray here and it looks like you have a mustache. So you're basically going to take that color corrector and you're going to put it in all the places where you're dark. You can put it on your acne marks, anything that's dark, any area that you want to correct, that you want the color to correct. And they have different colors based on skin tone. So they have green, I think that cancels out red. I know they have, I've seen yellow. So it's based again on your skin tone. But I know for my sisters, because I can only speak for my sisters because I have dark skin, orange is the color that you're going to want to get. And those aren't the only ones. Those are just the more straight to the point colors. So I just take this and then I take a little bit inside my eye, a little bit inside my eye, and then I take a brush. You can take like a big buffing brush and I buff it in just as if I would do foundation. And I know it's going to be like, dang, you're putting a lot on your face. This is very lightweight. You don't even notice the difference. And don't worry, when you're putting on your foundation, it's not going to be like orange, like you see an orange tint. Like, no, it is made to correct. It is made for your skin to look even. Look, can you even tell? You can tell, but you can't really tell, if you know what I'm saying. But if I get up close, you can see the orange, but you can see where it has lightened my face. You can just see it off that. Now, you don't want to walk around with just color corrector on your face because it will look crazy, because in person, it is still orange. Now we're going to go into the most important part. So we're going to go into foundation. So y'all know that I've been in love with this Born to Glow one. I'm using this one because it is drugstore. It is quick. This is actually what I had on for Valentine's Day, if you guys follow me on Instagram. So this is the one. It's like $8 or $9. Like, this literally has been my go-to foundation. I love it, and I just don't see myself buying another one right now. So I'm shaking it up just because it's in a tube. So I just want to make sure that there's no oil sitting down in the bottom. So a lot of people have asked me, how do you find your color? So there's two things you have to know when you're trying to find your match in foundation. One, you always match face to neck. You always match here and here. These are the two places. Because once you color correct, it's all going to match, but you want it to be like here. And then I wouldn't worry about matching so much to the middle of your face, because if you want to wear concealer, your concealer is always going to be lighter. And then your bronzer, your contour is also going to deepen out the outside. So you really just want to make sure that you're giving. Foundation is just a canvas. Foundation is like painting a wall white before you add all the colors and paint a rainbow, if that makes any sense. I hope that was a good analogy. So your face is what we're just going to color with your natural skin tone. And then you add everything into it, and then that creates the look. So you really just want to make sure that you can match these two things so that it's one slick canvas. So one thing you want to know, so you guys know that you match from here to here. And another thing you guys need to know is your undertone. So I actually, when I used to work at Ulta, I didn't know what an undertone was. I was like, whatever. And I've learned, and I'm still learning about undertones. I'm not an expert in it, but I do know when you play around with colors and foundations, you can see the difference. So there's some women who have golden undertones, so more yellowy foundations. And you can see that if you swatch foundations on your hand, you'll see where that color that they're talking about is. You can see the different colors. So like someone with yellow undertones, they tend to have more of like a goldy kind of foundation. People with red undertones, theirs tend to look more reddish, more orangish. Someone like myself, I actually have a neutral undertone. So a lot of like when I'm buying foundations, a lot of them say N, or like it'll say a number in N. Like for instance, my Stay Naked Urban Decay foundation, this says 71 NN. So that means I'm neutral. A lot of my foundations are neutral. That means that I can, it's not necessarily gold, it's not red, it's kind of just like a neutral color. And then you have people with cool undertones. So that means the foundation's a little bit more gray. So it just depends on your undertones. Some people have olive undertones, peach undertones. I mean, it gets deep. That's why these foundation companies are starting to come out with like 40 foundations, because you have to have a large range, because not everybody's just cool, neutral, warm red. You have peach, you have olive, you have just a mixture of some. It's crazy, but I'm still learning about it, but it is very, very interesting. So I figured out that when I was working at Ulta and we were playing with Lancome foundation, and they told me that I had a neutral undertone. Well, at first they said it was warm because my skin is different tones, but because of that, a neutral foundation more so works for me. Be willing to do the research. Now that I've had that spiel for like 55,000 minutes, we're going to actually put on our foundation now. So with foundation, your tools is important. Me personally, I like to apply my foundation with a buffing brush, just because. So you can apply your foundation with a beauty blender, or you can apply it with a brush. I prefer to apply mine with a brush, just because it's preference. That's why I said makeup is all about preference. So I prefer to use a brush, just because I don't like cakey makeup. I like for my makeup to be as less as possible, especially when it comes to foundation, because if you put on too foundation, you're going downhill from there. It's always good to have a light layer of foundation. Some people like a heavy amount of foundation, full coverage. That's not me. I like full coverage, but I also like to have it be a little light. If you have a lot of acne marks and stuff like that, you may want a fuller coverage. That doesn't mean more makeup. That just means fuller coverage. A beauty blender may be better for you to apply your makeup. I just don't like this because I feel like it packs on a lot of product and then I'm stuck with it. Whereas a brush, I'm able to buff it out, blend it out, and it's becoming thinner as I'm brushing it out. Whereas this, I'm just pouncing it on. It's literally just laying the product on top. And that's like, I don't know. I don't really like that. I do like to use this, however, for applying powders. But I don't like to use it for foundation. So for foundation, I'm going to use the Morphe M439 brush. You can get this at Ulta. It's only $10. I have 2 of them. I'm probably going to get a 3rd one. I'm always going to use this. It's my favorite. And then some people apply their foundation to their face. I like it to apply it to the brush. I just like having as much control over the product that I'm putting on my face as possible. So as you can see, I just put that there. I also didn't put a lot. Less is more when it comes to me. And I'm pouncing it in there and then I'm buffing it. So It just depends. But right now, just to spread the product around out my whole face, you always want to go down onto your neck. You don't want to look like you have a mask on. So you always bring your foundation down onto your neck. Then you go on your forehead. I never directly apply it on my nose. I just blend it out, and then like I kind of just go onto my nose. I never really apply it directly to my nose. So you're just gonna go on all areas of your face. And this is just simple. Plus, I also feel like a brush is just faster. I'm a mom, so I don't really have time to sit here and pounce, 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 and blend, blend, blend. I don't really have that much time. So a brush is also faster. So I've gotten the product evenly dispersed across my face. Now I'm just gonna let me get my bundles out the way, child. Now I'm just going to buff it out. And look, you can't even see that orange anymore. And you see how it all looks like one color? We are a canvas now. Oh. Remember telling you guys to put in your beginner's bag is the Instant Age Rewind in Tan. Remember it? Because I use this. This is actually really good. So you just twist it up. Now this one, normally I would say just do like little lines like you guys usually see me do. But because this applicator is so big, I just do kind of like a little swipe up under my eye. And I think I pumped out too much product, but we could work with it. So I'll just do a little bit right there. So the reason why I highlight these points is because this is the middle of your face. So this is where the light hits your face. So you want to make sure that you're highlighting the area where you're going to get the most fing. So I don't do my whole forehead. Do this, sometimes a little line. Do a line down the bridge of my nose. I did under my eyes. I did that. Sometimes you can get fancy and do other areas. Like you could do this and this, but I'm going to keep it simple. And then when it comes to purchasing concealer, this is also based on your skin tone, but in a different kind of way. So you always want your concealer, unless you're concealing like you're just trying to get out the door and you're trying to conceal real quick. Concealing is all about brightening. So you want to conceal those dark marks, and brightness helps that. So you always want to go a few shades lighter than your actual skin tone. And I actually like the golden kind of concealer. So as you can see, this concealer is not the color of my skin tone. It's a little bit lighter because we want to brighten the middle of our face. So we're concealing and brightening the middle of our face. So that's when you're looking for a concealer, you always want to go like a shade or two lighter than your skin tone. That's how you get the concealer color. And then I like to let my concealer sit because it's easier to blend out. I actually got this trick from Jackie Aina and I love it. I like to let my concealer sit because when it goes to blending it out, it's just so seamless. It's so seamless. And literally concealer is one of my favorite parts of doing my makeup. So I have so many damn concealers. It doesn't make any sense. I see it. Spoon. So then for me, I like to blend out my concealer with a brush. Again, I don't really use beauty blenders for like actual product, but I do like to use a brush. So you guys can use any type of brush. I remember I used a buffing eyeshadow brush to blend. Lately I've been using my E8 brush just because it's bigger, it gets the job done a little faster. This is a Morphe E8 brush. I don't think they sell it in stores. I do know that they sell it in they sell it online. I had to order this brush. And when I do my concealer under my eye, I bring it down kind of to my cheek, and I bring it up just a little bit. So I'm basically like tying this whole thing together. So like I said, when you're blending it, you go in your inner corner, of course. You want to make sure that you get in that corner. And then you make sure that you do up under your eye. And then you take that extra product and you bring it down. And you can see the difference. I'm back. So I have concealed everything. Just going over it one more time. And normally I would just take all my concealer that I did and just put it on my upper eyelid there. So as you can see, the middle of my face kind of looks brighter than the rest of my face. So normally at this point I would stop and I would do my eyebrows, but because the show must go on and I'm not there yet, we're going to set. So when you do your concealer, you always want to make sure that you're setting your face. This is where you're going to set your face. This is where I use the Beauty Blender. So I go in with like this spray. This is the Fix Plus spray by Mack. And then for drugstore purposes, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Setting Powder in the medium deep, which is number 30. And so you shake it up. So when it comes to picking a color powder, you kind of want to go not too bright, but not too dark either. Just depending on your skin tone. Sometimes the deep one brightens up your under eye. So the under eye or your setting powder for where you put your concealer is supposed to brighten your face. So it's just supposed to set it and brighten. So that's why this is that kind of goldy, kind of yellow color. I've used translucent works, but if you're dark, it could come off ashy. And then banana works as well. So this is kind of like a banana powder, but normally I would wet my Beauty Blender, but for time purposes, actually, I'm going to wet the Beauty Blender. So go ahead, and if you're using the Beauty Blender, pay attention to the size it is. You're going to wet it, and then when you wet it, it gets bigger and it picks up more product. So give me 1 second. I'm back. Okay, I'm back. So, see how big this thing got? That's what he said. I'm joking. Woo! Anywho, this is how big it got. Normally, this isn't the one I normally use, but this one's clean, so we're going to use it for clean purposes. You wet it and then dry it with it, and then it becomes more bouncy. So that's why I'm saying you could use this to apply your foundation. Of course, you would always have to wet it. Beauty blenders are always best when wet. They're not really that good when they're when they're hard. So when they're wet, they get bigger, they get bouncier, they pick up more product. So this is my wet Beauty Blender. So I'm going to go into my powder. And then I took this trick from Jackie Aina. You go over the back of your hand. And then you just go literally everywhere where you set. This is going to make it bright and pretty. And it's going to make it so that it doesn't crease and it doesn't move. Now, this would be a time when you would bake. I don't bake, so was that. But you could bake at this time. I'm just going to do all the areas of my face. I'm going to go in with a dry Beauty Blender as well. My OG. And really set this guy because it's still pretty damp. Literally. And I also put it on my laugh lines because I have very distinctive lines. So when I'm setting my face with this powder, I'm also setting right there as well. I'm going to take my Morphe E58 brush. I ordered this one. It has like a cool little angle, but you can use any type of brush. You could use a simple brush. You could use a simple brush like this to do this. It doesn't have to be, I just watch a lot of YouTube, so I buy products that I like. Leave it there. Thank you. So now I'm going to go, and this is the Sephora Micro Smooth. I'm sorry, I just don't have a full face setting powder besides Mack that just works as good as this. So, I mean, I'm sure there's some, but I like what I like. And this is actually really cheap. This isn't that expensive. So I'm just going to go in on it. Always tap any excess off. And then you're going to put that powder on top of what you just set and on the rest of your face, just so it looks seamless. Your eyes will still be bright, but it tones down that brightness just a little bit. It makes it more like realistic, if that makes sense. I'm going to use the Pretty Fresh hyaluronic acid setting mist. I don't know why I couldn't say that just now. And I'm just gonna spray my face. See how all that powder kind of doles you out and now you're like brought back to life? And then this is a time where you could actually take your dry beauty blender and just pounce all of that setting powder in, or that setting mist in, just to give it more of a lustrous look. So then normally this is where I would probably contour. I would do all that good stuff. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to save that for a different video. But however, I am going to use my e.l.f. Halo Glow powder. This is the GOAT right now. And I actually, again, I wore this on Valentine's Day. Actually, all of this I did on Valentine's Day. The only thing that's different is the concealer and the setting powder. Other than that, all these products are the same exact things that I used that day. And sometimes, like this e.l.f. one, there's so much that I just go into the top. And then I take just a big fluffy brush. I circle it around, tap it. This, do not put a lot. A little goes a long way. It's so pretty when you just do a little bit. So I just do a little over my face. It gives it that it literally gives it like a halo glow. And that's that. So, honestly, as far as foundation, that's all that I do. That's literally step by step all that I do when it comes to my foundation. Now, when we start getting into contouring, bronzing, blush, that'll be probably in the next video. That's when you'll kind of see everything else. But as far as just having a blank canvas, doing your primer, your foundation and your concealer, and setting it, this is all I do. And boom, there you go. So I'm gonna go off camera, I'm gonna finish my face, and then I'm gonna come back. We're gonna go over a few key points, and then we'll be done. So be right back. All right, guys, so I'm back. So basically, once you add all your good stuff to it, this is how your canvas will look. I mean, this is how it looks when you add color, you add stuff to it. It just makes it look. Key points in today's video when it comes to Make sure that you always wash your face and moisturize before you do your foundation. Make sure that you guys know what type of skin you have. That will also help you pick the type of primers that you should have in your makeup bag and that you use with your foundation. The same with foundation. Make sure you're picking a foundation that goes with your skin type. In your undertone, make sure you play around to kind of see what kind of undertone you have. And that could be based on the type of jewelry that you wear or that looks flattering on your skin tone. You can go to a store and they can help you. So it just depends. There's different ways to figure that out. You can Google, you can do some research. I personally would just go into stores and trial and error and pick out a few foundations and find your matches. And if your match is always a warm, then you probably have a warm undertone. So that's one easier way you could do it. What else? We went over a lot. Concealer, make sure that you go 1 or 2 shades up so you can brighten the middle of your face. Make sure that your setting powder for under your eyes and your concealer is also bright as well to brighten up that face. And yeah, I mean, I went over a lot, so please, I'm always here for questions. Let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comments. I have no problem answering any questions because I know I kind of went through this kind of fast. So if you have any questions about anything, hit me up or comment down below, and I have no problem answering anybody's questions. That's it for this video. So that's it for this beginners series videos on priming, foundation, and concealing. So your next video, of course, will go over all of this little stuff that makes up this face, and then when we put it all together, you will be able to at least have a simplified version of how to do your entire face. So that's all I have today. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment. If you guys try this, please and follow my Instagram, AmberMMack_. If you guys try this out and you like how it looks, post it on your IG stories, tag me, I'll re-tag you. I want to see if you guys recreate or buy any products. So please let me know, tag me if you have any. So basically let me know what you guys do. And like I said, like, subscribe, comment, share. Make sure you hit that bell notification to know when I'm posting every Tuesday and Thursday. So yeah, and make sure that you guys if you guys follow my social media. So follow AmberMMack_. That is my Twitter. That is my Instagram. My Pinterest, which I'm on heavy. My Pinterest is Amber Mack. My Facebook is Amber Marie Mack. And don't forget to read my blog, Sincerely, AmberMarieMack. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.